Gangwood, this is a marketing Q&A, and it's one of the highlights of our week, or our month, I must say. Beginning of the month, we have the Com crew come along board, and it's been terrific. We have the founders, Joey, and then we have Richard, and now we have Ev. These are all the key people at Com who are the digital marketing experts for the health and fitness industry, not just in Australia, but in the Southern Hemisphere, if not the world. So Ev is actually the wizard behind all of the mastery that Com does. I must say, anything you want to know about marketing, setup, technology, the way to engage in social media, and the whole setup of social and marketing and lead gen. Ev does all of the branding, plus she also does most of the coaching for all of the Com clients. So it's actually fantastic. A big privilege to have Evelyn here today. So thanks for joining us today. I really appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Look, guys come in and out on a Q&A because sometimes they're doing sales, but one of the things that we like covering today is just random questions. And I know Robert's quite strong in his social media and all that stuff, and we've got an apology just came through, guys. Paulie's had a serious family problem, so he's going to go and spend some time with his family today. So maybe just send out some love to young Paulie. Okay, so what we like to do here is to sort of open it up to the guys, but I'll throw out a question from the get-go. If from your experience in the fitness industry, what do you think is the biggest, let's say, roadblock for people generating qualified leads via, let's say, social media, by technology and so forth? What do you think the thing that most people don't know that's easy to fix, but they have no idea how to fix it?
Okay, the easiest thing I would say, there's probably a couple of things, but for me, one, I see consistency as an issue. Most people are like really good, and then they're like, weeks or, because everyone gets busy, right? But once you fix that up, there's one thing that I see people don't do, and that's actually ask, right? So a lot of the time we see social media trying to give all this value, and that's what everyone's telling you. But sometimes we just don't take the time to actually say, hey, I've got 2 spots left in Friday's class. Who wants to join? Or I've got, this, or, so it's not like you want to throw that out every time, but I feel like most people tend more towards the value, and they forget that you can actually ask people to do things. And in my experience, when you don't ask, people don't do. So if you don't ask them, you can't expect people to just say, hey, I'd like to come train with you. It rarely happens. When you get people at the right time with the right message in their feeds, and you're being direct with them, and they've seen you and they've seen your brand, that's when people are most likely to reach out. Most people are not going to see you, click on your profile, go to your website, see what deals you have on, sign up for that thing. Like, that's just too many steps. So you have to make it so that you're kind of building this brand and building this audience and building kind of your reputation. You do that through good quality content, and then every now and then you have to actually ask people to do something, to put their hand up, to take an action. And I find that is the better way to use social media than expecting and being disappointed that people are not clicking on that link for you, or that kind of thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Last week, Richard was saying that he suggests that we do a story which shows, some great results or some fun things and so forth, and spend about 30% of your spend on a story, and then later on do the call to action stuff later. Do you have any examples of asking? Now we've got, g'day Georgia, how you going? Good to see you. We've got, some guys, we've got personal trainers at Core, and also managers at Core. What are some examples of asking? What sort of things should we?
So there's probably 2 types. There's an organic way to ask people for things, like having an actual post where you're going to talk about something that you've got that people can get. The other one is in paid ads, and I'll talk about that in a sec. Okay, so organically, what I like to do is have kind of a cycle of posts that get people to raise their hands in different ways. Okay, so you could obviously put up, let's say we're talking about Instagram. You could put up a Canva designed image on what your latest offer is and ask people to sign up. Okay, that for me is probably the least engaging of asking people to do something. Okay, it's definitely a way to do it. What I find is a much better way to ask people is to actually expect or to open up conversations rather than trying to get people to make a sale on social media. Okay, so opening up a conversation, the more conversations that you open on social media, the more sales you will make, 100%. If you committed to opening a conversation every day in the DMs on social media, you would definitely make sales as a result of that. Okay, so some of the ways that I open up conversations is through, we could just call them fast lead posts, and you can do this either in stories or in the feed. And it's if you've ever heard of kind of the 9-word email, that kind of thing, it's very similar to that. So it's a really simple framework where you say, I've got something new. That could be a new class, that could be new equipment, that could be something. So you're trying to get people's attention through something new. So let's say it's an offer. I've got a brand new offer in September for 3 sessions for such and such. It's perfect for anyone who wants to, get back into their fitness after, hibernating all winter. Okay. If that sounds like you, comment below or DM this word and we'll get in contact. That exact framework works pretty much every time to open up conversations with people. And I see people use this in a heap of different ways. All of our ninjas use it. The most important thing is, I've got this new thing. It's perfect for, okay, so just because you have a new thing doesn't mean people connect to that. Okay, so you have to make the connection with this is who it's perfect for. So they can put themselves in that situation. They can say, oh, I'm that person. And so, okay, yeah, that sounds like me. And then you give them a really easy way to open up the conversation. So if it's in a post, comment below with the word, spring, or with the word something, or with the word yes, or with an emoji, and we'll make it happen, or we'll get you the info. And so then that's your opportunity to open up a conversation with that person. So then I would go through all of the comments and I would get into the DM. Hey, thanks so much for commenting on that post. Would love to tell you more about this special offer. Tell me a bit more about yourself, or tell me about something about you. So you're opening up kind of a chat conversation in DM that you want to eventually turn into a call. We all make better sales over calls. I never send a link in a DM. Don't expect somebody to sign up with a link. It doesn't work. Always get them on the phone as soon as you can. Hey, would love to chat to you. Do you have a phone number? And I can tell you more about it. That kind of thing. So that for me is...
If
Sorry,
we just
Steve?
summarize that.
Yeah.
Offer or something new. So say, hey, we got something new, or we have an offer. So this is in your post. Then you'll say, this is perfect for someone that wants to lose weight, to get stronger and buff up for summer, right? And then you'll say, if this sounds like you, put the word spring and we'll have a chat. Now, if they say something, you'll then actually direct message them.
Yep.
Or would you put a comment in after it? So would you go straight to direct message?
That's a good question. Yeah. I
so then you go
do
to direct
both.
message.
I do both, Steve. So I will send them a message and then I will reply to their comment to say, I've sent you a DM. And the reason is that the more comments you have, the higher the credibility of that post. So the more people see it and that kind of thing. So I always try and comment in the comments and then go to the DM.
Okay. So once they go there and say, let me tell you some more about it. And then you ask them a question, tell me more about you. So you're asking them to talk. So you're engaging them to sort of just say, here's a link, click here now. No, tell us more about you. Then you get into a conversation, have a reason to say, let's have a chat on the phone. Don't send a link in a direct message.
No,
it
doesn't work. Yeah.
So guys, you've got any questions on that? Because this is a straightforward strategy, but I wanted just to recap it in my non-marketing brain to see if that works. So any questions on that? Let's have a question or two. I'm sure Robert's got a question. He's always got questions.
Like my question comes to what we were talking about a bit earlier when you said kind of making a post and saying, like, getting somebody to identify, oh, this is me. Would you phrase that with a statement or a question or something? Are you casting like a broad net, or are you like looking for a niche or something like that? What in your opinion is more effective?
The most effective thing is to identify. I like to think of it as like identify a point in time for people. So like, let's say, like, it's more effective for me to say, it's perfect for you if you've been feeling bad about sitting on the couch at 10 p.m., eating a bag of chips, right? So somebody can immediately put themselves into that situation if they've done it, rather than just saying, it's perfect for you if you want to lose some weight. Okay, so I think it's definitely better to be really specific, and that comes back to knowing what people's problems are, really understanding who your niche is, and you'll be able to kind of put that in. Yeah,
like posting an unflattering picture of me eating a tub of ice cream on the couch while watching some Netflix dramas, being like, is this you? Would that work? Or
would it be so direct as like, is this you? But if you but also if you're into Instagram Reels, and you like those kind of like, funny ones where you're kind of acting something out, or like the trending sounds, you can always make it humorous without making people feel like you're making fun of them.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So you can be creative as well as that. But if you're here, like, even getting into the DMs, like everything that you learn about sales from Steve can just apply to a DM message. So, finding out more about them, that kind of rapport building, and that's just all sales. Like once you get into the conversations, it's all sales.
Yeah, 100% agree. Yeah, no worries. All right, so we can explore our creative flair a little bit.
Yeah.
Done.
So let me just recap that then. So you're saying that this is perfect for, and you have to put a situation, not someone that wants to lose weight. It says somebody that's looking to get into their bikini or wanting to actually wow everyone at the school reunion, or having problems in getting into your favorite pair of jeans. So people say, oh, I've got or your favorite piece of clothing. Would you? So it's a situational. It's perfect for, not a result situation.
If I was going to use a result, I do use results as well. But I still try and frame it as a point in time. So let's say they want to, wow somebody at their reunion. So it's perfect for walking into that 20-year high school reunion and feeling like you're amazing bucks, like something like that. So it's the difference between just knowing what someone's outcome is. And yes, that's like, they've definitely pictured it, but when you are really specific about that point in time, it makes it really powerful for people, I think.
So what would be something that we could use now coming into springtime that would be, this is perfect for? It's like a lot of weight loss, but a lot of the plus clubs have younger men, and men are doing more strength training for bodybuilding and so forth. Now, there is some weight loss there, but a lot of the plus clubs are more male centric. So I know George has been doing a fair bit of stuff on social media and so forth with Isabel. So have you got some examples of some situational protocols? We won't do the ice cream and being like, are you a sloth like me, so to speak?
I think that definitely after winter, people are wanting to get back out again. Like they feel like maybe they've been in hibernation mode, and so they want to get out and maybe feel good again. So I think that's a nice situation to kind of identify for people. And in general, I am finding that post-COVID, people are actually finding it much harder, or they're pushing themselves much harder to get out and about again, because there's all these behaviors that have made us stay inside. And so that might also be something that you could, that you could hook onto. So, get back out and about again after, like change your behaviors, that kind of thing. I mean, you can always go down the, feeling good for summer, getting ready for summer. I still think that's a good message. And it's something that most people think about straight after winter. So I think anything like that, anything around like well-being and like feeling good and that kind of thing. A lot of people, especially after COVID, are getting back into movement and exercise, not necessarily for the weight gain and how they look, but it's about well-being. A lot of people discovered that over COVID, they actually, movement creates well-being and it makes them feel good. And so there's a lot of feelings-based things that is the reason that people are coming back into gyms and fitness centers and PTs.
Do you think it may be movement, well-being, and become part of a community again, because people started to cocoon so much and have been a little bit, it's not fear of missing out, it's fear of going out. And but it's not that they're scared of COVID anymore. They've just got into a habit. So, so we say that maybe the post needs to be fun orientated and say, come and have some fun as well as lose weight and get some strength. Perfect for somebody that's been isolated in COVID for a little bit and wants to reconnect with some like-minded people. And then you say, click here now saying me, and then tell us a little bit about yourself. Have you been locked up with COVID? What have you done? Chit chat. We've got a great community here. Let's have a chat. Would that be the type of thing we would do?
Absolutely. That's perfect. You're actually a natural at this, Steve.
No. That's why I get exposed to talk to me.
You've made me think of something interesting there, right? Because, if we go back to personality types and disc personality, so knowing who your main person is will also depend on how you put them in that situation. So people in general are going to want to be part of that community and let's go and have fun and all of that kind of thing. So if that is your main kind of person, just go down that route, like just keep hammering that. If there may be more of a cautious type personality, you're going to want to kind of, they probably don't want to, be there. Ds are generally tend to be more competitive. So if you've got a new challenge starting or, something like that, then that always appeals to a D-type personality.
That'd be interesting. So you could actually mix up your message a little bit. You say, this is for, we're part of a family, been around a long time for the years, and say, hey, look, comes to our club. You'll be part of community, lots of variety and surprises for the eye. You could say, look, for those of you that love a challenge, we have some help to push you. It'll be for the D. And then people like to have a more structured approach and a schedule. We're here to help for the C. So that might be a way of testing your avatar. Normally the avatar that you go after is usually the majority of who your club is. So a lot of the guys have just done a fair bit of work on DISC. They probably know who their behavior styles are, and trainers know who they like to train. So you might want to market those people that you like to train or who the majority of your clubs have in there. So that's great feedback. Georgia, you've always got some questions that you've prepared. So you're doing a bit of social media. I know that Suzanne has too. We've got some questions for Ev.
I was actually going to listen today. I don't have any questions right now. I'm just catching up. Yeah, sorry.
Hey, Suzanne, how are you going? You're actually over at a different location today.
I am. I'm at Tower Hill with Trent, just going through some training. The gym. So
terrific. Well, I must say, you've ramped up your social media in recent times. My goodness gracious, you have a consistency always there. You've always up something interesting, not always about fitness. You've been driving some of your product as well with your body shape, and then you go into some fun things about yourself. You've really mixed it up really fantastically, Suzanne.
Yeah. I think
have you got any questions?
do more. I'd love to do more, but yes, Joe sort of keeps it pretty generic, but we're thinking of doing a challenge. We're working it out at the moment, so we will need to put some posts up about a challenge. So I'm hoping we get that done ASAP. So it'll be based around like well-being, as well as, you know, not just about losing weight, about just feeling better for summer. So yeah, everything you said is very relevant. It's not all about in your face, lose those kilos, you know, you're being a bit of a sloth. It's about bounce back in, let's get back into life, let's get back into feeling great, let's get back to the community. And so yeah, I'm hoping to speak to Joe and get that into this, you know, onto Facebook, you know, as soon as possible.
So if you're going to do a challenge, Suzanne, what sort of time frame have you got to actually then promote it via social media and to your members? And Evelyn, have you got any type of advice there on what's the lead-in time for anything that's done on social media and an event like that?
For me, I usually go with about 3 weeks, only because anything more than that, and I find like most people are not signing up like before that. Like if you wanted to go for, then it's kind of like a bit of a soft launch maybe, and then you can launch into like 3 weeks of real promotion. But I find with challenges, the reason that they work is there's a start date. And so that gives you kind of like, it gives people a cutoff. So the closer you get to a challenge, the hopefully more people that you're going to get in. So I try and do a ramp up. So let's say 4 weeks out, you do a bit of a soft launch. 3 weeks, you might do a couple of posts, and then you kind of increase to get to kind of that, you know, the actual challenge. That's kind of my general feeling.
For a challenge for Suzanne, and by the way, a challenge is always good around about that November time frame, because then you can then get them to upgrade into December. And also, if you've missed the November time frame, you're better off doing a call to action in January, so your challenge starts in February. So it allows you a call to action for January to start your challenge in February. What type of things do you think, Evelyn, work well to get more people that are not just your members? Do you think it's better to go into your fan base, in your fan group, or do you think it's best to do, let's say, pay to play to your avatar in your area on social media via Instagram and Facebook Manager?
I think you should do both. So if you've already got a group or a database or something like that, where you've got a whole group of people organically that you can reach out to, you already own those people, not own them, but like they're already in your world. So you don't have to pay for them. Okay. So I think like that is a definite way to start. What I'm finding actually is a lot of our clients are using social media, using paid ads. So Facebook and Instagram, they're setting up their challenges. And these are people who do challenges regularly. Is they will have a whole lot of people sign up on Facebook and not sign up for that challenge. So they'll have opt-ins, no sign-ups. What will happen is the next challenge that they run, those people end up signing up. And the reason for that is that on their database, they're getting regular content. They're being nurtured. They're starting to understand, you know, a little bit more about, you know, the brand, and they're getting marketed to, and then they end up. So it's a bit more of a longer lead time. So sometimes when we think like Facebook ads, well, that campaign didn't work. Actually, what's happening is people are just needing a longer lead time to get in. So it all works together. So I would say definitely Facebook ads still work. The key to converting Facebook leads is to call them and never stop calling them. Okay, that's really it. So we've been doing this test with all of our clients. Is they call every single day their Facebook leads. On average, they get hold of a lead between day 5 and day 14. So
day
if you're
5
calling,
and day
5
14.
and day 14. So if you're calling on day 1 and stopping, you are losing probably 90% of the leads, and you're going to call me up and tell me Facebook ads are crap. And I'm going to say, how many times did you call that lead? But most people, I think, are calling leads about between 1 to 3 times and then thinking, oh, I feel like a stalker, I'm going to stop. But from my experience, I've seen people convert 80% of Facebook leads just because they're calling them every day. So it definitely works. Just takes a whole lot of time to actually get hold of people. It's just people are harder to get hold of.
Yeah.
So when you say calling them, are you asking for their phone number in the opt-in, or are we trying to call them on direct messenger?
No, I always get their phone number. So for fitness ads, I'm always running the lead ad type. So that's when you set up a lead form on Facebook. They don't go to any other website. They just stay on Facebook, and their details are pretty much auto-filled. I always ask for name, email, phone. I don't really ask for anything else. And then once I get that, they go into the lead system in Facebook, and they go call every day. That's it.
Do you use the Facebook auto, the one that automatically fills in, or do you use a separate URL with our opt-in page?
The Facebook one. And the reason for that is I find that the leads are cheaper that way. And it comes down to like you have to test everything. Like in marketing, you test everything because some things work better for different businesses than others. What I have found is Facebook lead ads, so when they fill in the lead on Facebook rather than going to a page, are generally cheaper, but again, less intent because it's easier to sign up. So when we're talking about, if they go to if I went to a landing page, read the info, put my details in, I am probably a higher kind of, not quality, but it's a higher intent because I've stepped through a couple of hoops to actually put my details in. Compared to on Facebook, a form pops up and all of my details are filled in and I go submit. So it's a lesser intent, but doesn't mean it's lesser quality lead. It's just, and so I find those types of ads with the lead box or the lead form are cheaper, and in my opinion, you get more leads that way. And I think that in the fitness industry, we can't really afford at the moment to be thinking that, well, I want better quality leads. Well, actually, you just want more leads you can talk to. Like, honestly, that's how I find we get the best results is the more people that you can talk to, the better it is for you.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So,
sorry, that was a tangent for challenges. Sorry about that.
I have a question, if that's okay.
Yes. Yeah.
So our gym is majority like young boys, probably between the age of like 15 to about 25. And I find just generally they're more so on Instagram as a platform rather than Facebook.
Yep.
We don't have that many older people going to the gym. So would it still be valuable in equally prioritizing Facebook boost posts along with like Instagram boost? Would they both be generally valuable in the same length, or?
For that age group, usually I would say yes, okay? But for that age group in particular, I agree. I just don't think that they're on Facebook. Like, I literally think they don't have Facebook accounts. And it's fairly new because for a really long time, everyone's really had Facebook. And so it's only been the last couple of years where we're seeing new generation come up. So I think that I think, one, you should test. Okay, so you should test like, how much are we getting for this Facebook compared to Instagram? because at the end of the day, with your marketing budget, you only have a limited amount. So you want to put it into the places that's going to get you the best value for your money. So I would do a test and I'd say, okay, is my assumption correct? Because what we're assuming is for your avatar, they're not really on Facebook, so we're going to be spending more. So just test that assumption with a couple of boost posts and then make a decision. Say, no, we're going to go all in on Instagram. The other thing I would suggest to you is to get onto TikTok ads. So TikTok ads, I'm still testing it. I've only just kind of, in the last month or so, started kind of doing some tests on it. But what I do know is in that particular and in, really across the board, that is where the attention is right now. So attention equals hopefully, like cheaper leads for us, and that means more leads.
Thank
So
you.
you're thinking TikTok is going to be more and more prevalent in the for the younger age group, especially men?
TikTok is I could talk about TikTok all day. I do think that it is a really interesting platform. We've lived with Facebook. I mean, most of us here, lived with Facebook for quite a while now. It's all based on who you know. So you friend people, that kind of thing. So we call it the friend graph. But TikTok is based on something different. You don't actually have to know anyone. It's based all around your interests. And they built one of the most smart algorithms to be able to really, really quickly put you in this vortex of things that you're only interested in. And that's why so many people think that they're on TikTok for 10 minutes and it's been 2 hours and they're still watching 60-second videos. And so there's just something about it. And I just think that makes for a very powerful kind of paid ads experience if you can tap into people who are really in that niche, who they're absolutely interested in health, fitness, feeling good, all of that. And I think it's the next. I'm excited for another paid platform, really, because up until now, really, we've had Facebook and Instagram. We can't, yes, you could do paid ads on Twitter and LinkedIn, but would you really? No. So I think TikTok is the next platform for paid ads. Yes.
So
have a play around
because it's a different platform to Instagram. What everyone's I'm finding that a lot of clubs are telling me that a lot of their people, their avatar, is shifted to Instagram. Yes. Because one, the algorithm is not as, let's say, pedantic, and secondly, it's easier to use. And the other one is because TikTok algorithm is very basic. It has less restrictions on it, and it's less expensive. Is that correct? Yeah, I think so. I am finding there's a lot of pushback against Facebook, more than I've ever seen. And I've been doing this for over 10 years now. So lots of people are moving to Instagram. And so it's a good way to if you're doing paid ads on the Facebook platform or the Meta platform, is to have a look. You can look at the breakdown and see, where are my leads coming from? Are they coming from Instagram? Are they coming from Facebook? And you can actually then say, well, I want, the majority of my budget to go to Instagram rather than Facebook, that kind of thing. But yes, I think that in general, new paid platforms are always cheaper. And so if you can, people are using their TikTok reels, and they're sticking them on Instagram, yes, and Facebook. So they're all interconnected. And is TikTok just about dancing around doing silly things? I mean, Rebecca's wanting me to do a dance for impact training. I said, well, no. TikTok is a crazy, crazy place. I have seen so many strange and weird and wonderful things on TikTok. One time I just watched somebody look for rare coins, literally used to just seeing their hands look through rare coins. There is something for everybody on TikTok, and that I think is what makes it
a really powerful platform. So I don't actually think that you need to do the dancing and the trends and that kind of thing. I think that, you know, if all you did was do 60-second videos on, you know, one, you know, tip, or, you know, actually, you know, face the camera teaching people, or, you know, stuff like that, I think, you know, you're still going to find, you're going to find your people at some point. So I think short form video is a great way to combine. There's so many good ways to kind of use it, but you can combine a really dense amount of information and take advantage of people who have short attention spans, which is basically the whole world now. And you can put really dense information into a 60-second video. You can take that humor side of things. So there's so many people who are really good at the lip syncing, or, you know, taking something, you know, if you have more of a kind of funny, humorous type of personality, that can really work. But then the other thing I see on TikTok is literally just a quote over a photo with some music. So it can be as simple as that as well. I think, you know, it's as much as TikTok has been around for maybe 3-4 years, it's still really, really new, and you can try out a whole different thing, a lot of things. So, yeah.
So with these reels, I've noticed there's lots of reels on come from Instagram, come from Facebook and TikTok. You just watch the reels and they're just entertainment. There's really not a call to action on any of them. I mean, some of them say, "Oh, click here now." You definitely see it say an ad, but there's some funny things and some very interesting things on the reels. How do we get any type of leads from, you know, the really cool dance, or the interesting cooking, or the shocking thing that you see?
Yep.
How do we actually create a lead from that, though?
So same as I said, straight up, is ask people to do something. So when people are on social media, their default behavior is scrolling. That's it. Because that's what they're trained. That's how the app trains them. So, you know, whether you're on TikTok or Instagram Reels or whatever, they're scrolling. So as soon as you ask people to do something, you break them out of that scroll mentality. So if you're just putting things up, expecting people to do something, that they're just not going to. They're just not in that. So what I would usually do is, like, let's say I'm talking to the camera and I've, you know, had a, you know, "Hey guys, I just want to, you know, give you 3 quick tips today on how to stay healthy and active, blah, 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 blah." What I would do is have just quickly say at the end what I want people to do. So, "Hey, if you like this video, I do these every week, and you can see them by clicking the follow button." Really quick. So something easy like that. So with a social media post, I'm not always trying to get people to do something to like take a sale action or a marketing action. I'm usually trying to get people to come join the tribe. Okay, that's what I'm trying to do with Reels especially. So asking people to like, asking people to share, asking people to save a post. So on Instagram, one of the main kind of drivers of, you know, for Instagram, like if somebody saves a post, that is the highest signal for Instagram that is a valuable post and they should show it to more people, which most people don't. Most people are looking for the likes, like, because that's what we all see. But what Instagram says is that person is creating really valuable content that people want to save and watch later. And so if you can create posts, I find the best kind of posts are value posts. So like when you're giving a really practical tip, like, so let's say let's say for a fitness thing, you might say, you know, next time you're in the gym and you're doing this type of exercise, try this. Or if you get lower back pain when you're doing squats, try this thing. And then saying, save this post for when you get in the gym. So you have to tell people to do it, otherwise they won't. They'll keep scrolling. Okay, so for different types of posts, I'll have different calls to action, either in the caption or as I'm, like, if I'm talking to the camera, I will say it to the camera. So it's either going to be a like, a share, a save, or a follow. They're the 4 things. And then you go back to the fast lead post that we were talking about. is that every now and then you can throw in a fast lead post and open the conversation. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. So ultimately, with the fitness industry, do you think Facebook is becoming less popular and TikTok and Instagram becoming more prevalent? Or do you think they need to go across all three platforms? Because the rule in marketing, isn't it, focus on one or two that you're good at and forget about the rest?
Yeah. I want to say Facebook is dying a slow death, because I'm not a huge Facebook fan, although that is my specialty in marketing. I think as a platform, people are finding it a bit boring. They're not seeing things they expect to see, which is things from your friends, updates, that kind of thing, just because of the algorithm. So I think that it's still the main player and will be the main player for a really long time for a lot of people. So I think it's important to show up there, but it's definitely a platform that is much harder to get organic reach than a platform like Instagram or TikTok. And so what I do is I tend to focus on Instagram and have everything from Instagram go to Facebook. So you're showing up and you're doing your thing, but Facebook should be a platform where you do mostly paid marketing, and you kind of show up organically for people to see. Instagram, I think, for most fitness professionals, should be their main platform. And then have TikTok as your experimental platform. I'm, playing around and seeing how it works. If I can go viral, great. Yeah.
So let's just say the core crew here. They're on the Mornington Peninsula. They have stay-at-home mums, a younger demographic, and they have probably a 50-50 split. And correct me if I'm wrong here, guys. Would you say that the Facebook, Instagram, or Instagram, TikTok would be better for them?
I would say Instagram and TikTok.
Yeah, definitely TikTok is lots of fun. I'm playing with that a lot now, and just like putting things like nans of Instagram and just sort of getting an idea. Like sometimes I'll put something about health and fitness. I'm sort of trying to grasp where I'm going with it. But for core, I think they need to get into TikTok, because like without even having friends on it, like you're getting viewed by people from all over, and it's like, yeah, it's just like amazing. I'm really amazed with TikTok. But Instagram for me, and Facebook still, because we've got some old over 50s. So we find a lot of the mums and dads are still on Facebook. So we've got to sort of have it again, I think, around all three of them. I think we need to have our hand in all of them still. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I 100% agree. There is a huge older population on TikTok, like that young people don't even know about. And that's the great thing about TikTok, is that like literally you're in your interest group and you think, wow, there's only these kind of people, but there is just whole subsections of other people on the platform. It is honestly incredible. Yeah. And so I think that there's definitely a move towards that. I know especially young mums, stay-at-home mums, they're on one of the two, Instagram or TikTok, or both. Yeah.
So with the Plus crew, hey Maddie, how you going?
Hey guys, how are ya?
Good to see you. Where's your right hand man? He's
just popping through a sale. He's just finishing it up.
All right, now with Plus, we were talking. Georgia was talking about. She has quite young men that come into her club, 15 to about that 25-year-olds. Is that similar to your Plus clubs?
Ours is probably about 20 to 35. More so.
Okay, great. So given that you do a lot of the marketing and you do a lot of social media, very good at that. Have you got any question for Ev to to see if we can ramp up some of your lead gen, because we've been talking about a lot of stuff on Facebook and how to get engagement earlier, where we're talking about have an offer, saying who it's perfect for, and then we say if this sounds like you, give us some let's say put a word in there and then start to go into direct message, tell us a bit about you instead of sending them a link and so forth. So that was one thing that we did. We'd been moving around between TikTok and also Instagram and so forth on how to get engagement. You've always got some interesting questions with regards to what platforms to use in your call to action. So what sort of things would you like to sort of ask for your month of October and November?
Well, what we want to kind of utilize is the Facebook ads at the moment. Obviously, like with Instagram, when we post, it goes to Facebook. And that's where we get like the content and whatnot. But we were just wanting to focus on your paid marketing. What's the best way to get leads in that regard? Like with content or just advertising. Yeah.
With organic or paid or both? Paid. Yep. Okay.
So I just should jump in here.
Yes.
If the paid, what's the budget?
That would be up to the boss man. Not sure.
Not sure?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
So we need to find out how much
benchmarks
per day you're going to spend, or what it is per club that it's in your budget. So if you're going to have a paid ad, so we've got to have that's a really important thing that Patrick needs to tell you. So you need to give him a buzz while he's in Catherine and ask him.
Yeah, disturb his holiday. Happily do it.
So over to you, Ev. What should Maddie do?
Yeah, I think just talking in terms of budget, I find if you're a plus fitness gym.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So for gyms, usually I see anywhere. It's very unusual to get below $10 these days, but you can get anywhere from kind of the $10 to $15 for a lead. So just think about that when you're thinking about budgets. Is like if you're like, let's say, like I deal mostly with studios, but with gyms, it's like if you're putting, let's say, a $20 budget and you're thinking, okay, how many leads is that going to get us? Well, that's probably going to get you about 2 leads every day. So if you think about it that way, that's I feel a good just a good way to look at budget. Like how many leads do you need in the end, and how many, and kind of work back from there. For studios, it's a little bit higher. So if you've got a studio, it's usually anywhere from kind of the $20 to $30 mark. If you can get a bit lower, then you're doing exceptional. So I suppose in terms of offers that I see work well on Facebook is definitely kind of a trial offer, not talking free trial, but some kind of trial period. So if you do like a 14-day, that kind of thing, that can work. The other kind of offer that works really well is actually.
I'll interrupt you on the trial. Do you think a paid trial is better than a free trial?
Always better. Just better for business, really. I find it's much harder to convert people in a free trial, and you don't get them come in. They don't feel the value of it, that kind of thing. So I'd much rather have someone pay even just a little. And then you also don't feel resentment towards that person because you're giving away things for free. Yeah. A lot of, that kind of, but it's a big thing. And when it comes to, selling that person, you're like, I've given away something for free. So that's definitely one. The other one that we have is like a bundle offer. So you have like a trial bundled with a whole lot of other, things that they might get. So, maybe they get a body scan and they get, one PT session, that kind of thing. So you start to like put a whole lot of things together. It works. It probably works better in a studio environment than in the gyms, but it can still work. And what I like about it is that I'm really always just trying to get people not to discount their offers, because I feel like if I went to the cafe for the first time, I'm not asking them to discount their coffee just in case I didn't like it. Like, could I just try it before? Like, there's, I'm not doing that when I go out. And so I don't think that as fitness professionals, you should have to, discount down to, like the lowest common denominator just to get people in the door. What I prefer to do instead is to add value on top of what you already do. Because what I do know is, as fitness professionals, you throw in everything just to get people in anyway. You might as well outline what those things are that you're throwing in, and just demonstrate to people how much value they're getting for something. So let's say you had a trial plus a scan plus a PT session. If I'm going to do something like that on Facebook, I always put the value of each next to it. Actually, Steve taught me this. But always outline the value of each of the things, added up at the bottom, valued at, but you're getting it for this much discount. So and I find that works really well on Facebook because people want a deal, and they feel like they're getting a deal, but you don't feel like you're having to discount all the way down. You're actually adding value so that you can charge more. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Look, it's a big difference between the offer to get the lead and the call to action to close the sale. So at the end of the day, we can actually have an opportunity to have young Theo got to change his challenge and made a name and said it was a $49 challenge.
Yeah.
And it's to F45. The consequence of that is that people said, yeah, I'd like to do the $49 challenge, lose some weight, get ready for summer. But they opted in to get the challenge, but then they went through, had to have a conversation to activate it. And to be able to have it activated, they had to go into a quality guarantee, which he digitized. So the offer, well, sure, you can have your $49.
Yeah.
You got to be serious about training. The condition is you're going to have a 3-week offer. You've got a quality guarantee. It will last for 2 weeks. If you want to continue, you can. If you can't, just opt out. So that's the close. But so you had really nothing to do with the offer to create the lead.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, like, honestly, in my opinion, once you get someone on the phone, you should be identifying what their problems are and their challenges are, and then prescribing them what they need, rather than them saying to you, like you signed up for this, we're going to sign you up for, for that exact thing. You should actually prescribe them what they need to get to their goals.
So how much would you recommend, is from a question from Rebecca, how much would you recommend a club or a studio? Now, remember, Suzanne runs a very, very large club. And also today she's at a very little club. They have a little bit of everything in the core group. The Plus Fitness clubs are around about the same size.
Yep.
So what would you suggest someone spends per day on Facebook or Instagram or with a business manager? What would be the average that most clubs and studios are spending?
If I may, I was going to ask exactly the same question, Steve. How much time should we be cultivating an online presence? Because it's all well and good that we can recycle and we can share the same content across different platforms, but like for a large club like us, we've got different demographics that go to each club. Like, for example, Suzanne's club, the one she's at now, has mostly young teenage boys. One further down the peninsula is mostly retirees. In your opinion, what's a good amount of time to be spending cultivating and creating content on almost a weekly basis?
Yeah. So I'm going to answer the budget one and then the time one. In terms of budget, I'd definitely be spending between $20 and $30 a day as a minimum. Anything less than that, you're just not going to learn fast enough, and you're going to be thinking these ads aren't working because they're not working fast enough for you. So $20 to $30 a day as a minimum. 30 days is a nice time frame to run an offer, unless it's a challenge offer, and then you're probably going to work between kind of the 3 to 4 weeks out. But if you're throwing things up and then 2 days later saying this isn't working, I've got to change it, I know there's a lot of anxiety that comes from doing paid ads, but you have to let Facebook optimize and find your people, and sometimes that takes longer than a couple of days. So if you're putting the $20 to $30 in, you can usually expect for that to start working and to start optimizing at the kind of 4 to 5 days. If you're getting no leads by then, switch it off and then call us at Com and we'll help you out. So that's that. In terms of how much time you should be spending cultivating an audience, there's two ways actually to cultivate an audience. There is the organic way, but there's also paid. So for all of our clients, we have them putting out video content, awareness content via paid. And they spend about $5 a day to get that out to their exact audience and kind of build that brand presence. I find it works really well on a local level because people are walking past the gym, people are seeing, you know, you in your uniforms around the place. And then when they log into Facebook or Instagram, they're also seeing videos come up in their feed. So it works really well on a local level, and it only costs about $5 a day to actually put you in front of your exact people that you want to get in front of. So that's one way. And obviously paying with money means you don't have to pay with time. But if you don't have the kind of money to put on awareness and building your audience, then you're going to have to pay in time. So I would say, you know, for me, social media is a big part, I think, of most people's lives. And most people discover things on social media now. So think about every time you put out a post, that kind of accumulating brand, it accumulates presence, that kind of thing. So I would say if I had to put a time on it, I wouldn't spend any less than an hour or a week on content. But the biggest thing that you're going to, or the biggest way that you're going to create conversations is engagement. So having some kind of engagement strategy where you're finding people in your area, commenting, doing all of that kind of good stuff, as well as for a lot of our clients every day, they pick one person who they've been engaging with or who have engaged with their content, and they reach out to them in the DMs and just say hello, not with a sales thing, but just to say, hey, I've noticed, I've noticed you in my feed lately.
That's a nice golden nugget there. That's a good one, because if you guys listen to what Ev said, she got anywhere between 20 to 30. So I made an average of $25. So that's $750 a month. Okay. Of that, you can either add an extra $5 to have some awareness marketing, or that could be gobbled up in your $750. Now, none of you have a membership that's probably less than $750 a year. So at the end of the day, if we just get one membership, you're going to get an ROI on that. Secondly, if you're spending, you got to spend no less than an hour on social media a week. Now, I'm sure most of you spend a lot longer on that, but is to then pick out people that have engaged with you before and say hello, and start a conversation. And that is an activity that someone needs to take responsibility for. So it's like regularly reaching out to that person, say g'day. Now, if they're already a member, just say g'day, that's fine, but we're looking for prospects here. So I think there's some big activities that we could push out there. $750 spend, $5 if you want awareness.
Yep.
And then content, spending at least an hour a week on content. Well, I think a lot of people spend a lot more time on that to try to get engagement. I think that's some big broad activities there. Terrific.
Yeah.
Wow, gee, time flown. Got any other questions to wrap up our time together? Alex, you're sitting there with the man in the Starship Enterprise driving your beast. Any questions come to mind? Because I know you're just busting to get onto social media and do a TikTok dance for us.
Not really. I might get Erin to do that, but I won't be.
Okay,
I'll jump on the poles, mate. Don't you worry. I'll do it.
Yeah,
Alex.
sure. Good on you. Well, wake your legs right, you'll be fine, mate. You go. Erin will teach you what to do. She's got strong upper body strength.
Yeah, she can show me, and I'll get me my skin tights on and flash me good leg.
Right. So, George, you got anything to wrap up? Any questions for Ev?
I think I'm all good. Thank you.
All right, terrific. Now, I don't know if Maddie's there just sitting there teasing me with just an empty chair, or she might be doing a sale. So is anyone there at the Plus? Is Mike, are you there on the left-hand side? I can't see around there. He is. Oh, yeah. You're silent warrior. You didn't send me a text message yesterday, mate. You're supposed to send it to me. I'll keep you accountable.
Yeah.
I was waiting up until midnight for the text message from Michael and never came. I mean, I'm a shattered man. So I got a question before we wrap up, Mike?
Nothing as of now. But yeah, no, definitely I want to find out from Ted about the social media spend, because I was actually
Okay.
about it as well. So
Well,
that's key for me.
you can tell I'm one of the leading experts suggested 700, around about 750. So we're all good
Yeah.
to go.
Yeah.
All right. I'll look forward to getting your text message. Anything to add there, Maddie, before we wrap it up for the day?
Nothing for me. Nothing for me.
All right. Terrific. All right, gang. Well, thanks for joining us. Evelyn, boy, oh boy.
Thank you.
A wealth of, not so many. I've got 4 pages of notes here. I'm sure all of us wrote down lots of stuff there. So, guys, if you need to reach out to Com, you all get an opportunity to have a marketing muscle up. So, talk to Ev, Joey, and the crew, and Richard, obviously, always there to help. So, thanks again, Ev. I really appreciate your time today, the superstar.
Yeah, no worries. No worries. And if there is any other questions, I'm in the group with Steve. So just tag me and I will do my best to check in on Facebook.
Thank you. All right, gang.
Bye,
Thank you,
guys.
Ev.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.